joining me today for this hair tutorial. I'm going to show you how to get long-lasting curls. Now, a little bit about me and my hair. I have kind of a lot of hair, but it's not super thick. I also color my hair, so I have to make sure that I take care of it and I'm careful with it. I have wavy hair, and so it's not like a nice wave where I can just let it dry and it looks gorgeous. It kind of has a random pattern. Some places are really straight and some are nice and wavy or curly. And when I dry it, I don't have to do anything to it and it kind of straightens itself, but it's nice and fuzzy, as you can tell. I've never had hair that holds curl. So I remember being in high school and trying to make my hair look nice and curl it with a curling iron and having just to put so much hairspray in it for it to just not hold. So I kind of had just stopped curling my hair for quite some time. And then I was seeing people use Lange tools and I decided I'm gonna try one. They always have really good sales. So I did that and now I have curls that last for days. I rarely have to do any touching up, and I'll talk about that as I go. I go 3 days, sometimes 4, without washing my hair and my curls look great. So today I'm going to be using the 25mm ceramic wand. You can see this has a ceramic wand, and then I also have a 32mm titanium wand. So you can see the difference in size. This wand, you want to use titanium if you have thick hair, if your hair does not hold curl well. This is going to give you really, really long lasting curls. If you have coarse hair, definitely go titanium. Size wise, this one, the 32mm, now that my hair is the length that it is, gives me gorgeous, like beachy, loose waves. I have to think about though how I'm going to wear my hair in the days after I actually style it, because the looser that your waves start, they're going to loosen up as the days go. So then the looser the look will be at the end of the time before you rewash and style your hair. So I'm going to use the 25mm because I am going to sleep on my curls tonight and have 2 days before I wash and restyle my hair. So when I curl my hair with the 25mm, it ends up being tighter than what I necessarily want. It still looks really pretty, don't get me wrong, but because it has a tighter curl to begin with, then the next 2 or 3 days after, my curls are perfection, exactly how I want them. So you just kind of have to decide what you're doing and what you want to have your hair look like. If you're okay with it being a little bit tighter, you can also pull the curls as they cool, and I'll show you that today too. So I've just washed and dried my hair. If you go to my blog, teachingwithbeauty.com, I have a whole blog post about all the products that I use from showering through styling, so you can check out the products that I've used so far. I use them daily, so nothing will have changed. And then I take my hair and I basically section it at my ears. And then just clip that out of the way. And I am growing my bangs out. So I dried my hair and then I did just use a flat iron here to get them a little bit more how I want them. Now for heat protectant, super important, whether or not you color your hair, but especially if you have colored hair. I use the Lange Rival Heat Shield. It smells great. It does not add grit and grime to your hair. Since I only wash my hair like twice a week, I want my hair to be soft and feel good. I don't want it to be gritty and grimy the whole time, because it's going to get like that as I put more product in throughout the week. All right, so now that I have, this is how my hair is sectioned. I'm going to take about 1-inch sections, like this. And then you want to hold the wand down. So if you hold it this way, how the angle that you hold your wand in is going to affect the curl and the pattern. So you want to stay consistent. So I'm holding this down and I'm wrapping this, and you can see that the hair is flat. I haven't twisted it, and you see how you can see the wand, the black space in between. I'm just going to hold it so it's not quite as tight. Cute little curl. I like to see the wand in between, that way I have a little bit looser curl. So the tighter you wrap it with less space between the hair on the wand is going to give you a tighter or a looser curl depending on what you're going for. So I try and stay consistent. You can see how the hair is flat. Just hold it there for a couple seconds. Just pull on it just a little bit so it's not quite as tight. And you can see that the curl pattern is going to be the same. Now today I'm going to do my hair in the consistent curl pattern, so I'm not going to do some curls going back and some to the front. If you want to have texture between your curls and you don't want them to all kind of melt together, then you want to wrap. So I wrap to going back away from my face, and then the next one you want to go forward, and you want to alternate that curling pattern if you want to make sure that your curls stay a little bit more separate. I'm going for just a nice wave overall in my hair. So I am going to do all of my curls going the same direction. And I just continue that. I do have to be careful when I get to the back. This really could be sectioned here. If this is really wide and flat, when I put it on the barrel and I take the curl out, the curl is going to start more here, and this is going to be this wide flat gap. So you want to kind of think about that. Now, when you order the Lange wands, they do come with a glove, and I'll show you. Gloves looks like this, and sometimes it can kind of feel lost in the packaging. So all of the packages will have that wand, so make sure that you look for that. I don't use the glove anymore. I would say give yourself probably 3 at least attempts with the wand before you decide that you can't do it and it's not for you, and before you go gloveless. The burns from these suckers do not feel good. They're super, super hot. But as you start kind of getting the idea and the feel for how to hold the wand and where to put your arm when you're wrapping around so that you don't get burned, it will be better. Okay, so there's that side. So you can see that I've done that side to here, and I've all gone curling back. So I wrap back away from my face. You want to make sure that when you curl your hair, even if you're doing an alternating curl pattern, you want the front section, the first at least 1 if not 2 curls, to always go back away from your face. When you curl toward your face, the curl is going to wrap in, and it's going to make your face look not as flattering. You want it to go wrap back so that it opens up your face a bit. So I had already sprayed that heat shield on all of my hair, so I can just go to the other side. And again, I'm holding it down. And so just a little randomness. Pull that out a little bit. You can see that I have some shorter pieces. I have some new growth, actually quite a bit of new growth. I had lost a lot of weight last spring break and over this summer. And something that I wasn't prepared for, or wasn't really hasn't just been talked about, or that I had seen, is that not only do you lose and you're like your body's shedding, but it also happens to your hair. So my hair was falling out like crazy. So I'm in a regrowth period. All right, so this is quite curly, and as it cools, I'm just pulling on it a little bit, excuse me, to loosen up those curls. And so again, here's this big flat piece. So this is a good size, but if I put this on the barrel, it's not going to come out of the curl very well. So I'm just going to separate this into 2 pieces. Now, as you wrap, it's really easy to end up kind of twisting the hair, and you can curl your hair like that. I prefer, for myself, how it looks when I keep the hair nice and flat as I wrap it around the barrel. So keep that barrel pointing down, and let's try that again. There we go. So you can leave as much of the ends out as you'd like. Doesn't take too long for your curls to get set in, but notice that aside from pulling on my curls a bit if I feel like they're too tight when they come off the wand, aside from doing that, I'm not touching them. So I want them to curl or to cool as they are, and that way later on when I'm running my hands through them to kind of break them up a bit, I'm not going to be pulling all of the curl out of it. All right, so that should be all of that section. I love Aveda Air Control. It's a really, it's a light hold, but it still is a strong hold, if that makes sense. So since I'm going to be just sleeping on this tonight, I want to make sure that I just do a little spray. I haven't, remember, pulled any of that curl out, so I'm just kind of spraying them as they are. You don't always do that. It's not necessarily necessary, but just for a little extra oomph. All right, so because of my part is here on the side, I do have extra hair here than I do on this side. So I typically just pull up just this very top section. There we go, it's good style, right? And then take more of that heat shield and spray that through the next section. And so basically, I'm just going to continue doing the same thing. Depending on the thickness or the coarseness of your hair, you might find that you need to leave your hair wrapped a little bit longer than I do. So just kind of watch it because the wands are very hot. Now, I said that my hair does not hold curl very well. It never has. And then I said that if your hair doesn't hold well, you want to go with a titanium. And that is also true. But you can see that I'm using the ceramic, and these wands are just that good, you guys, that the ceramic holds my hair so well too. So my hair is definitely not thick or coarse. And so I can get away with this ceramic because I'm using these smaller pieces and it heats it all the way through. It heats it really well. Look at those pretty curls. I just love these wands so much. And again, I would definitely recommend using that glove, not only if you're brand new to using a wand, but even if you get a new size, because the way that your arm has to wrap with just a different size barrel is different. So I had started with this 25 millimeter ceramic because my hair was shorter when I first ordered this. And when I got the 32, I thought I was good to go and didn't need to worry about the glove, and I definitely got a few little burns because I wasn't used to having a bigger barrel to have to go all the way around. So you can see the curls there. And so again, I am not raking my hands through or doing anything to them. I'm just letting them sit and cool. The only thing that I'm doing is pulling on them a little bit if when they come off the barrel, I feel like they're too bouncy for my taste and for what I'm going for. And I can try and wrap. This piece will probably wrap, but I may need to go in at the end just with my straightener and just put a little bend in some of these shorter hairs right around my face here. And that's not going to throw off the curl pattern. So So again, I'm trying to just be sure that the spaces here between the hair are even. And look at the nice just wave. It's so pretty. So if you are someone who has followed me for a while, I'm on Instagram at Teaching with Beauty. I'm on there quite a bit. It's just an easier platform and in shorter chunks of time. I do have 3 little ones, so not being interrupted. Oh, I lost a big chunk here. Holy cow. Going back. Is nearly impossible. So my husband's home today, can wrangle the kiddos so I can have a little quiet. But if you have followed me or know me, I tend to curl my hair the first day, and then the second day I love a top knot, so I throw up just that top section in a top knot and have the bottom pieces. So maybe part of this would be in my top knot, and then the rest is just these really pretty loose beachy waves because it's day 2. So preserving the hair when you sleep, so I keep saying I'm going to sleep on this. I'm not laying directly on the curls. I have I put my hair up on top of my head when I sleep, and I have a scrunchie. I think it's called a bobble. I'll have to look it up, or I'll just show you. Do you guys know the old like key rings that are like spirals, and people used to like push them up on their arms and wear them like that? That's what this looks like. I'll have to find mine before I end this video and show you. But it keeps it from making a huge crease around your head. So the only place when I sleep with my hair on top of my head, literally on the top, and you can head over to IG and I will be showing what that looks like. I put it in a super high ponytail right here on the top of my head. The only place that there's any kind of crease is the spot that hair is sitting, and it's so tiny that if I'm wearing my hair down again, curled, I typically just have to do a little bit of a run with my straightener just right here, and that's it. I am not retouching any of the curls. When I use this 25 millimeter, my curls do not need touched at all. When I use the 32, I tend to have to do just this very bottom section, and I think that's more probably for 2 reasons. The curls are looser, but also because my hair isn't too long, so that very bottom hair, when it's pulled up, it's really pulled very straight, and so the curl is just pulled on all night long, so it just kind of straightens it out. So if I do any kind of retouching, it's less than 5 minutes the next morning and my hair's done. So I'm not really adding more heat to my hair, maybe just in that one section or in the very top where I told you I might have a small crease. But you can pull that band. Oh, what's happening with this guy? Try it again. When you put that bobble that I was telling you about in your hair, or if you're like an 80s kid and still have scrunchies, I mean, a scrunchie is great because they're not thick, or they're not tight like a typical, like this kind of rubber band, where it's going to make a crease all the way around. There we go. But so I'm not adding more heat and damaging my hair. So again, I'm keeping my wand pointing down to continue that curl pattern. And because I'm letting them cool all the way, when I do end up running my hands through my hair at the end to kind of make them melt together a little bit more, it's not going to be pulling a ton of the curl out. Okay, so that whole side's done. And there's not too much to be done on this side because that last chunk was just kind of that extra hair from having my hair parted on the side. And I have a little bit deeper part than normal. I usually do part on the side anyways, but it's a little bit deeper because of those bangs. All right, so I'm gonna check out. Oh, good, perfect. And then depending on, you know, my bangs are a little, just kind of do their own thing. Sometimes they blend in really well, and other times I need to take the straightener. Sometimes they can blend in enough with a bigger chunk of hair. Like maybe today they're gonna work, so yay. All right, so I'm just gonna let that set up a little bit, show what the back looks like. And I just wanna make sure that all the hair cools before I start running my hands through it. So again, the heat shield is what I used on all the sections. I used a little bit of the air control just on that bottom layer because that is the part that falls the most. This top section is not going to fall. It will look exactly like this in the morning. Not a problem. Here's that bobble that I was telling you about, so you can see how it's kind of spiraled. So this kind of lets your hair go in and out of it instead of just a really harsh line around on top of your head. So I will pull all of this up and put this, just wrap it twice, and then pull it out even a little bit so it's loose and not like right on top of my head, because that's really when you're going to get a crease no matter what you're using. So put it in loosely, tug it out just a little bit, but your curls are going to be up here so that when you're laying down to sleep, my hair is, I'm not laying on it on my head to flatten it out. It's going to be nice and just not be affected because I'm not laying on top of it. I also use a satin pillowcase. This I struggled with for a long time. Like, do I really need to invest in one? But it really does make a difference. The cotton just absorbs all the oil and such from your hair, and then you're just kind of rolling around on it, where the silk sheets and the silk pillowcase doesn't do that. So I've just bought just a single silk pillowcase just for my pillow, so I can still use the warm thermals for everything else, but it has made a difference in my hair and keeping it less oily, because my hair is super oily. So in between then, I also use dry shampoo, of course. I was using Living Proof forever, but it's like $23 a can, and not washing your hair but 2 days a week, you go through a lot, especially when you have oily hair. So my cousin was nice enough to recommend Kristen S, which I can find this at Target, and it's $14, so almost half the price. And so it's much more affordable. This does come out a little white. When you end up working it into your scalp, the whiteness does disappear. I don't mind a little bit of that residue just because it helps cover some of the dark roots when my hair is growing out, but that is something to know about the Kristen S. All right, so now that this is set up, I'm just gonna go through and just run my hands through it and just break up some of those curls, and they'll kind of just start melting together. And because that curl pattern was similar, you can see it just makes this big wave. I do that in the back. Okay, so I could be done here. There are places, depending on how I curl my hair, that sometimes I can see, like here, where it kind of separates and it doesn't always meld or mesh very well. So I just have a comb from Sally Beauty. You want to use the really tight places, the tight end. And I am just going to tease on the very top, just on the top today, because I don't need a ton of volume for what's happening today. So a little bit of that air control, and holding your hair straight up and pulling this straight down. So a lot of people try and tease this way. You want to hold it up, and that way you get this lift. And then either take the looser or the wider end of the comb and brush that out, or just run your hands over it. I'm not going for a ton of volume. I'm going for this to all look like it's all just doing that by itself and not like these individual curls that I had to put in. So I do like to spray a little bit before I tease it all, and then taking that tighter end. And so now you can see how it's all smooth and it's not looking like, oh, here's where you curled and here's where you curled and you took this section and that section. So it's just taking the sectioning really out. There we go. So again, I didn't really use any teasing for height purposes. So to set it, I can either go in with that air control again, or I love using the Fermata, which is also an Aveda product. This is an aerosol and this is like a liquid, it's just wet. So you can see how that is in there. This is super strong hold. So I kind of use it like a scrunching spray. Just spray very lightly and just scrunch this up. And it's going to help keep a little bit of texture, even though I wanted my curls kind of to blend together. It's going to keep a bit of that texture for me. There we go. All right, guys, that's the final look. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to the channel. You can like the video, comment below, and let me know what you think. Let me know what else you'd like to see from me, and I hope you guys have a great day.